What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and some pretty big news today. Angry Joe being terminated from his Disney / Maker Studios agreement with zero warning. Now, I've reached out to Joe. Joe is a smart guy. He's going to be fine. But I want to just show exactly what's going on here, and also talk to the fact that if you're a YouTuber and you're on a network, and you haven't been like removed from monetization on YouTube, you're losing money. They're just leeching off of you. See, networks, let me start very simply. A lot of people ask me, like, how do people make money on YouTube? Well, we get a small portion of the ads that play on our videos. Now, due to the Adpocalypse version 1, 2, and 3, as well as the prevalence of ad block, that amount has gone down for the same amount of views significantly, which is why YouTubers now sell merch, or they have Patreons or subscribe stars, or they do what I do, which is take just about any ad read I possibly can. And you know what? You all have been awesome. I feel like I've been really upfront by saying, like, look, if the app isn't like just complete garbage, I'm going to do an ad read for it, because I know my viewers are smart enough to know whether or not they want to download a game or try out a product. The same way I have no control of what ads run before or after my videos, I'm going to get that paper. And all of you have been so amazing at not busting my chops too badly over doing that. Now, why are MCNs, networks, even necessary? Well, in the beginning, YouTube didn't know how to monetize gaming content. It didn't care about it, if you can think about that enough. It's a far cry from today, where we are, where they're actively pushing their gaming section and their live streaming, which I think YouTube live streaming is great. And they didn't run ads. So if you were a gaming channel back in the day, you got a network like Machinima, which is long gone now, or Maker Studios, or Full Screen, or one of these companies. They would email you. I get emails from this BBTV company every day, a different person at that company telling me, hey, we can make you more money for doing nothing. We're going to just take a small percentage of your revenue, but we have better ads than they do, and your CPMs are going to go up. They're all full of it. I got duped into signing in on a network back when I did my Unsleeved Media channel. My earnings absolutely never increased, and they never brought me any of these so-called brand deals that they all promise. They all email you and say, oh, we're going to get you the brand deals. We're going to get you those Dollar Shave Club ads. We're going to do all this stuff for you. By the way, they never do it. And if they do it, they take a huge chunk out of it. You know who got my Manscaped deal? Me. Or my assistant, which emails these people and sets up the deals for me. You know who got me my upcoming, watch deal? My assistant. Or these people are emailing YouTubers directly. You don't need a network. You never needed a network. Well, they took advantage of... Then once YouTube, by the way, started monetizing gaming channels, the studios had no real unique selling proposition. They would come out to YouTubers and prey on them and just lie. Lies. Every one of them lies. I've never seen a scenario where a YouTuber made more money on a network than they did on the simple YouTube network. But they're so weaselly in their presentations to you that it's hard to turn them down. They'll say, yeah, YouTube, we have better ads than YouTube. We have bigger brands, and we're going to get a bigger chunk. We're going to run a higher percentage of ads on your videos. Never happens. So you can't blame creators for signing up with them. Then what got really, really snaky was when the Adpocalypse started happening, they started preying on YouTubers again, because first they had the, they were in need, I'm sorry. But then after YouTube realized what a big mistake it was, they were no longer required. So they had to shift. So then they started reaching out to YouTubers like myself, who create more edgy content at times. And they'd say, hey, man, YouTube's going to take your ads away. We can help you. Not only that, we're going to get you brand deals. We're going to do all this. All we ask is for 10% of your revenue. But don't worry, because if you made $1,000 a year now, we're only going to take $100, but we're going to make you $1,500 a deal. It's a no-brainer. Just sign this contract and you'll be locked in with us for perpetuity. Well, a lot of old guard, including Angry Joe, either were on a network at one time because they ran gaming content, that might be his case, or they joined one, they got duped years ago and they just forgot about it. Meanwhile, these people just leech. If you look at Maker Studios, which was acquired by Disney just a few years ago, this was a troubled studio back then. Inside Disney's troubled $675 million Maker Studios acquisition. It wasn't one thing that transformed Maker Studios from a Disney princess to a pumpkin. There were many. Times were better for YouTube Network in March 2014 when Disney had decided to buy the company for $500 million, with various performance-related revenue targets included in the contract. The final price tag could have been as high as $950 million. Disney ended up paying only $675 million for Maker, which is reportedly bracing for layoffs. The company plans to shrink the size of its YouTube network from tens of thousands of creators to roughly 300. And that was back in 2017. What Disney learned, and what many long criticized YouTube multi-channel ecosystem for, is that it's virtually impossible to build a business on YouTube. Then there was internal dysfunction at Maker, including multiple leadership changes, an inability to meet admittedly aggressive growth targets, and difficulty in creating original content. The following account is based on interviews with 5 former executives at Maker and Disney. They had scale at any cost in place. Like any other YouTube networks, Maker would sign social media stars by offering them upfront guarantees. By the way, they've done that. I've had people offer me quote-unquote signing bonuses as big as $25,000 to sign with their network. But since I'm not a moron, sorry, Joe, we all make mistakes, I knew that they were just paying me with my own money. They were leeching 10% of my own money anyway, and they were just paying me back with my own money. First it was $5,000, then it was $10,000. Then I said, well, how about $50,000? Like, well, maybe $25,000. I'm like, well, you just steal more of my money. Oh my God. I feel bad for anyone that has to work there. Even if those stars were on revenue-starved platforms like Vine, we were signing these top Viners to mid-6-figure minimum guarantees. And another former Maker exec said, by the time I left, there were still tens of millions of dollars in minimum guaranteed payments that hadn't been made. For Maker to grow, it needed to do what other YouTube networks have also been investing in: original content, made and sold, therefore monetized and remonetized by Maker. Full Screen, for instance, now has a video streaming app that makes original short and longer form series for Awesomeness TV, another YouTube rival that has built a studio business that includes making shows and movies on digital platforms like Go90 and iTunes, then finding additional revenue in later windows. To be sure, Maker has been active in this area too. Last fall, the company relaunched its gaming and comedy verticals. This is all old news. So then today, Joe gets this email from Maker support. Hi, Joe. This email will constitute notice that Maker Studios is electing not to renew your strategic development agreement dated 12/31/18. The termination is pursuant to each party's right to elect not to renew the agreement for the renewal term under initial term and renewal term provision of the first page of the agreement, as well as section 1 of the additional terms. As such, the agreement will continue until the term expires on 12/31/19. Now, Joe's channel is still doing fine, getting between 10 and 20 million views a month. So there's no rightful business reason to do this unless Disney is saying, hey, you know, you swear too much in your videos. It just seems like such a weird thing to cut, because essentially Maker is making free money off Joe. Upon termination, your channels will be released from our content management system and will transfer and you will thereafter be responsible for ensuring that monetization is set up and active on your channels, assuming that you want them to be monetized. Any final earnings will be calculated and paid according to the regular pay schedule. You may also notice some of your videos getting automatically claimed by Maker shortly after release. Not to worry, as this is normal and resolve themselves once YouTube's system finishes processing the release. You will also notice that after release, the Epidemic Sound music library will no longer be available to you, Any video published prior to release shall remain covered by our previous license and exempt from claiming. However, any published afterwards, you've got to change. So if you use their music for your intro or outro music, you've got to change that. And also, a big thing that networks would claim is that they protect you from third-party claims. Look, I've been very vocal. I just fought a Sony copyright claim yesterday and I won it. You don't need networks to do that for you whatsoever. Networks used to tell you, oh, we've got insiders at Google. We'll be able to protect you from all this BS claiming. They never did any of that for me. I still got claims all the time. And to be honest, it's really not that difficult to go ahead and just claim this stuff or fight it yourself. YouTube has set up a nice system that you just check the box basically and say, hey, this is fair use, suck my wang, and send it off. And if you're smart, if you're Sony, if you're, by the way, I still haven't had my earnings released from that random Brazilian radio show that claimed my video, but I'll win that too after 30 days. Sony released theirs in 48 hours. You know, some of these things, auto claims, are not nefarious while others are. I mean, we see situations like Warner Brothers, for example, I believe claiming Batman videos or Batwoman review videos that were negative as a punitive way to disincentivize people. But Joe came out to say, this would be a good thing in the end. They haven't spoken to me in years. They've literally done nothing for us but take a percentage of our revenue. It's just transition is scary. I think MCNs have really taken advantage of old schoolers. Should have done so sooner. Good riddance. Now, I know a lot of folks in my viewership, you know, they don't like Joe or some of the things that Joe has said. And I've had my own issues with Joe, but, you know, two people can have an argument and still be friendly. We're still in this game together, and I still treat Joe like a peer, even if, you know, some of his Twitter rants are a little too spicy. But this just shows that, you know, being a YouTuber, I'm just thankful that my viewers are so accepting of me doing ad reads. And I've reached out to Joe directly and told him that, hey, I'm going to give you contacts, my contacts at places like Manscaped and Dollar Shave Club and wherever he wants to partner up with some of the people that I've partnered up with. And I'm sure they'd love to have him. Any one of the VPN people I've had, I'm sure. So I'll get him coached up on some of that stuff. I'm sure he's freaking out right now a little bit. But nonetheless, good riddance to MCNs. I think Joe will find that he actually earns more money without them. You can see a lot of the replies. Here's Legacy Kill HD. Went through the same thing about a year ago with full screen. You'll be fine, and long term you'll feel better about splitting. MCNs are leeches. They absolutely are. To my fellow YouTubers, break the ties with your MCN. They're not doing anything for you. They're not protecting you. They're not getting you any more CPM. They're just leeching. Anything they tell you is just to get a sweet chunk of your money for doing absolutely nothing. Good luck to you, Joe. I'm sure the next month is going to be stressful, given we've got, you tell somebody at Christmas time with 3 weeks notice that they've got to make major changes to their YouTube channel. I'm here for you if you need any help. As you know already, we talk enough. Hope you enjoyed this video, and screw Maker Studios.